TIA's companies contribute $600 billion annually toward US GDP and employ 3.5 million people in America. And you do deserve a round of applause for that. TIA companies are inventing, building, and maintaining the indispensable infrastructure of our 21st century digital economy. I'm really in awe of what you do and the advances that I see so quickly in this space to meet the opportunity and the growing demand. And in the labs of so many of TIA's companies are new innovations coming soon that will reduce the size of equipment and antennas and increase speed, efficiency, and capacity.
I tell my team internally, I tell them, mark my words, the next 5 years are not going to be planned and they're not going to be deliberate. And in fact, I think the next 5 years will be characterized by chaos. It'll be somewhat chaotic. The new applications, the new development, all is going to come faster. It's going to come faster than we've seen in this industry before. And there's a lot of things coming at us that we haven't even begun to imagine yet. If we're going to build this kind of capacity and stay ahead of this type of demand, the investment levels are really going to be impressive. To make that a reality, two things are required. I mentioned it earlier, but you have to have the right tax policy. It's a tax policy that incentivizes investment and does not punish investment. And there has to be a regulatory environment that is conducive to this kind of investment. And TIA, as I mentioned earlier, you've been very helpful in that regard. But I think what time is going to show, and I think it'll show this in short order, is that only when you have large amounts of spectrum, only when you have an environment conducive to investment can you have what I think all of us in here are looking for, and that's a very vibrant, a very dynamic ecosystem made up of network equipment providers, app developers, content providers, device makers, every facet, every link of the chain, investing, innovating, and developing new capabilities so that it will drive the next demand for bandwidth, which will then drive the next demand for investment, which will then create a virtuous cycle. And at the end of the day, you know, we run these 10 to 15-year cycles of investment. I think that's what we're in here now.
You know, looking across this audience, it's clear to me that it's a very exciting time to be in the industry. Yes, as Randall put it, certainly maybe the next 5 years will create some chaos, but certainly, you know, innovation and differentiation and acceleration of what we can do sometimes come out of those times where there is maybe some challenges in the industry, including spectrum. But first, we have to kind of appreciate the industry's revolution. It was only 20 years ago when we were seeing the build out of big networks around TDM, or time division multiplexing. Since then, we've seen certainly a lot of innovation and maybe more efficient technologies, and certainly IP won out. We saw certainly many benefits of IP, but we also saw some unique challenges that came with IP. Certainly, we're running more smarter networks today. Those networks have to be on in full throttle mode as much as in 2 a.m. in the morning as well as at 2 p.m. in the afternoon. But there's one thing that we haven't quite figured out yet, which is the reallocation of access capacity from a non-peak time in the network to a time where we're seeing congestion. And here's where we enter the cloud.
Wireless technologies have advanced so rapidly that now we can do just about everything that only a few short years ago was only possible with a high-powered PC tethered to a desktop. Now, providing this infrastructure that supports all this innovation is what our industry is all about. We need our standards bodies to react quicker. As an industry, there's things we can do better. We need to adapt to these changes quicker. We need to enable standards that create faster industry standards, you know, prevent the fragmentation that occurs, makes life confusing to ourselves, our partners, but most importantly, confusing to our customers. So that's an area we can all find ways to be better. But by aggressively attacking these challenges, I'm confident that the next wave of innovation will be the most innovative, the most dynamic in our industry.
We share the same problem statements. We are all trying to manage power costs. We are all trying to effectively utilize the assets that we deploy. Whether it be in a data center or a network is irrelevant. We are all trying to effectively manage these devices and manage this infrastructure.
In essence, we have about a 5-year window that we need to go very fast with in order to make sure that we meet the demands of the marketplace as these more sophisticated devices come on. And as we do that, we need to ensure that we're not getting too far ahead of the quality systems that have made us successful for the last 25 years.
If we are going to really open our country to the innovation that we have always known in the past, we must look at the regulatory environment. If American businesses are going to live up to their vast capabilities, we have got to eliminate the heavy hand of government regulation that is stifling growth. The federal government continues to find really innovative ways to impose regulatory requirements on our businesses. In my role as ranking member of the Senate Commerce Committee, there are a few simple questions I ask myself when I am looking at a bill that comes in to authorize yet another regulatory burden. Is there a need for a regulation? Could the concerns that have arisen be worked out through the market activity? Those are the two questions that must be answered. If not, then it is just another gratuitous power grab by the federal government that is attempting to substitute its judgment for the marketplace and consumers.